the fact that this conference is indeed important because we as Africans stand to benefit in many various ways. That is a conversation we want to continue with now here in studio. And joining me, I have two very important guests. First off, Mr. Mike Rabahi is the CEO of Homeboys, and Mr. Calvin Mudhuri, CEO of Urithi Sacco. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Now, it has been on everyone's mind, just to sort of start us off here, Mike, the fact that we have had all these conferences here in Nairobi so far for the last 2 years, and indeed all indications going forward indicating that we're going to have these high-level events. What essentially is the need for local businesses?
I think, thanks for the question. There's a lot at stake for basically all sectors of a business in an environment like Nairobi's. Having come from an events background,
yes.
When you break it down into the various sectors that would actually help support these conferences, it's vast, and I think there's enough for everyone to feed off. Starting by the basic need from accommodation, transport, to merchandising, to local tourism, and then down to the technical support of the events as well. So I think there's a huge scope in there that we can actually tap into.
Yes. So Kevin, Urithi Sacco, 18,000 members, 11 different counties in Kenya with a focus on infrastructure, especially housing.
Yes.
When you got onto the global stage, the fact that with companies like Airbnb and others that are enabling people find accommodation in new ways, what are the advantages here, the little things that members of your organization can take advantage of?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. It's Urithi Housing Cooperative Society and Urithi Premier Sacco.
Yes.
But the two are, so they are different organizations, but they serve the same purpose, so to say, which is to provide affordable housing to the members. One of the major benefits, which is the future of the industry that is in Kenya, not only in Kenya, but also in Africa, there is a lot of shortage when it comes to housing, not only in the cities, but also even in the rural areas, and also with rural-urban migration and all that. And then when you look at the conventional ways of construction, that is the normal brick and mortar, you realize that one, it is quite expensive in terms of not only the cost put into the project, but also time taken into the project. If you take like 3 years in a project, it means that the cost of construction at the end of the day, the headache of managing even the various sites is also a challenge. Certain conferences, they help us as a nation, even as an organization as Urithi, to know what has been done in those other nations. Like for example, when you look at Japan, the new technology in housing amongst other countries. And in that case, the main advantage, once we take advantage of such, it means you're able to offer a better house, which is more durable, which has got more benefits, and most important, you're able to offer that house within a very short period of time. Talk of also other infrastructure like roads and all that. In a given project, in a given construction site, there are those other amenities that you provide to the members.
The utilities.
The utilities. One of them being roads, the other one being energy. So the moment we are able to have certain conferences, we're able to see what is the world doing regarding such infrastructural developments. We're able to take certain advantage of certain technologies in road construction, in energy. The other day there was a blackout in almost every part of the country.
Of this country, yes.
And also still even in that you find that there are those other parts of the country also that there is no power and other sources of energy. But now when you take advantage of this, it means you're able to offer it cheaply, and also there is that convenience given that you're producing your own at a very minimum cost, which means you can even regulate the supply.
Would you then be able to say that as an organization you have been able to start taking advantage of what is going on currently and in the past, and be able to implement those benefits to the benefit of your members?
Yes, as an organization, we've been able to take such. In the past 3 months or so, we've been looking at technology in housing, and we are looking and studying countries like Japan, countries like China, countries like Malaysia, whereby we want to offer housing in an affordable way. And the first project that we are doing, that we shall be embracing such technology, we're doing 500 units along Kangodo Road, that is at Joska, whereby we are taking advantage of this technology to offer houses in an affordable way within the shortest time period of time, whereby we are giving a 2-bedroom house at about 1.6 million, which is scalable. Another thing is there is what we call a growing house, whereby at the moment you can start with a 1 bedroom, but as your family grows and all that, you can upscale that maybe to get a 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and all that.
So it's innovation around the all different ways.
It is innovation around, but also we are looking at, because you know, Kenya is Kenya, so to say, there is what people are used to.
Yes.
People, they are used to the normal brick and mortar, the quarry stones and all that.
Yes.
So we are looking at how can we have a hybrid. We have the conventional way. How can we marry that with the latest technologies, and also educating our people? It is not a must to find the quarry stones. There are countries whereby when you talk of enzyme stabilization technology, whereby you are able to construct, there's a new concept in Israel, for instance, whereby you are able to construct a house without the need for any cement.
You use gypsum, you use
So
soil. Yes.
there is gypsum, there is soil, but there is the APS, the styrofoams, that a house is constructed at the factory. Then when you come to the ground, it's just assembling. The bigger parts, they're just, your work on site is just to join.
Yes, just hold that thought. Very interesting. I want to now go to Mike. The fact that the things he's talking about in these conferences basically mean that technology transfer is essentially what we are talking about, being able to educate our people. A critical part of that is being able to grow the population in a way that the young people learn about these things and are able to scale them into businesses. Talk to us about mentorship and what you're doing about that.
Just to augment what he said, I think technology is going to be a very key player in terms of just progressing and growing what we're doing as a whole.
Yes.
So we have taken actually steps towards creating spaces where young people can come in and start to interact with technology. So we've got one such space called the Y Hub.
Yes.
That we're now encouraging young people to come in there, experiment with new ways of engaging, scientific ways of trying to solve some kind of problems using technology. And we're seeing very quick uptake. We even have actually kids as early as 6 coming into the space and learning how to build and design houses, like you just mentioned, using certain tools that have been available to them.
Yes.
So moving forward, you then find a very exposed and energized populace that understands how technology and the soft and hard end of construction, for instance, would come into play.
Yes.
And they're also now being able to design and imagine and bring to life ideas that they now can now bring turn into bricks and mortar. So I think the housing space is one area we're seeing a lot of young people now engaging and designing spaces they can now call their own and customize. And you're moving into things like intelligent homes where your house can adapt to your mood, you know, things like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people of a certain age in this country, people like myself, have grown up watching things called Japan Video Topics, which would have suggested that Japan was very well sort of grounded in technology and taking technology very seriously and being able to lay out various infrastructure in terms of growing people in the various vocations and various technological specializations that they think the country needs. Do you think as an organization you are able to sort of help Kenya develop the skills that are necessary to achieve some of the things that we're talking about and which are a real gap today?
Actually, that's a very interesting question. We've just realized the way to actually attract this, the young populace to get involved in technology is through gaming. So we now wrote a program called Camcode, where we're getting kids as young as 6 designing games and games that actually work. But when you start getting into the gaming space, you start building environments.
Yes.
Environments mean creating plans, you know, infrastructure. So you're going to navigate a certain game to do certain things and a certain character go through certain elements. And that is just all about logic and planning.
Yes.
And planning and sensitizing and actually mapping out causes. So you're slowly getting these young people beginning to use logic to make calculated steps. And there's what you call like sim cities where they design virtual spaces that have such certain virtual, I think, clubs and rooms where they can do certain kind of programs. So they're beginning to really think beyond just a vertical space, but horizontally. So we're using technology a lot to actually, and the key thing is the interest is very, very high. But you're seeing how they're implementing that kind of challenge to create an environment, and if you just translate it into the ground, you'll find that actually planning cities indirectly. Beginning to understand why things are arranged in certain ways. So flow of movements, flow of people are managed in certain areas, speed of execution of certain tasks.
Yes.
So I think for us, we are learning a lot as we progress with it.
Kevin, Mike has just talked about planning the environment and the fact that as a country, we don't seem to have planned for the future. For example, look at Nairobi today, maybe having been planned for maybe up to 800, 1 million people. We have in excess of 4.5 million today. I don't want you to give us the answer right now. We want to go on a short break, but when we do come back, we want to delve into that issue, the fact that while nations such as Japan and China and other Asian tigers seem to be planning, indeed decades and centuries in advance, planning 100 years in the future, we are still planning for the year 2030. That and more coming up in a short while. Do stay with us.